TNT 2016. This is interviews, music reviews, and more. This is The Hodder Show.
What is up, everybody? We are rolling audio here today on episode 379 of The Hodder Show. I have you guys doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you so very much for tuning in and clicking that play button on today's episode of the podcast. I've got a kick-ass episode for you here today, as I try to every single week right here on The Hodder Show. We are getting an exclusive first listen of Seagrave's brand new badass EP that is coming out October 25th, but you are getting an exclusive listen 20 days early. How freaking awesome is that? And on top of that, you're going to get some behind the scenes commentary from the boys and also a little track by track after you listen to the EP. So we are going to have a ton of fun here today. If you are interested in hearing the EP first, and then you want to go back and listen to everything, I will have a link in the description that you can forward ahead to just the actual EP itself. And then you can backtrack if you like. But I really recommend listening to kind of almost the pre-interview before we hear the tracks, because a lot of cool information on what went into making these tracks, the production and recording process. So definitely stay tuned for the whole thing. And as well as, because it's the boys and Seagrave and myself, we have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs and fun tangents happening throughout the episode. Before we jump into that though, I want to thank everybody for their support on last week's episode of the show, my chat with Dylan and Nick from Pneumonia Breath. That was a really, really fun episode, and it was extremely well received. Thank you so much to everybody who shared it, and to the boys in Pneumonia Breath for being just fantastic guests. Definitely be rest assured that I will have them on again, because it was such a blast getting to chat with them. With that, we are going to roll into this episode here today, an exclusive first listen of Seagrave's self-titled EP. Let's get into it. All right, we're here with the boys from Seagrave doing a little exclusive first listen here on The Hodder Show of their brand new self-titled EP that is going to be coming out on October 25th. But you guys are getting an exclusive listen right here, right now on The Hodder Show, 20 days early. That's freaking awesome. We're going to talk all about the writing process and recording process. You guys are going to hear the tracks. Then we're going to do a little track by track with the boys. Guys, what's going on? It's good to see everybody.
We got
everyone here. So we'll go through the roll call real quick. So we got Doug.
Hey, how's it going?
Then we got Allie.
What's going on?
And then we got Stiv.
What's up?
And then of course we got Chris.
What up, cocksuckers?
What's going on, cocksuckers? It's Joey Diaz. That'd be so much better. I'm not gonna lie. the official spokesperson of Seagrave and Seagrave Coffee, Joey Diaz.
I'm just gonna start every show out now, just doing a Joey Diaz impression.
Please do. Please do that. Let's fucking go, dog, cocksuckers. Oh.
Gotta have.
I'm for it. Well, boys, first and foremost, thank you very much for this, because the first exclusive listen the Hodder Show really ever had was with you guys, and now the first full exclusive listen of an EP is going to be with you guys. So I mean, I'm honored, and also like 20 days early, like that's insane. Like that's a hell of a lead time for your boy here. So I appreciate you guys doing this.
No, thanks, man. We appreciate you letting us do it. I mean, obviously when Allie and I were kind of putting the release and marketing plan together for the EP, like coming on here was one of the first thoughts we had, of course. So we're glad it was able to work out.
Yeah, definitely so. And it's cool to actually have everyone here. There's going to be a little bit of a mic passing, just for the record, folks. So if there's just a second or two delay, just so you guys know that. But we literally have everyone here, and this is the first time that we have all of Seagrave here. I think I've had everyone but Doug on at this point. So like it's nice to have you here, Doug.
I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah, definitely so. But so let's just jump in head first here. So the EP itself overall, like, just to say, it's fucking awesome. And I was saying earlier to Chris in a message, it wasn't exactly what I expected it to be. And what I mean by that was, upon hearing Leader of the Pack, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be just fucking crushing caveman music with some dynamics, and I'm all for that. Then I heard the full EP top to bottom, and I was like, what the fuck? That was like a movie. Like it was fucking awesome. So like, walk me through how the process started for you guys writing these 4 songs here.
Yep.
Basically just pure riffage, just riffing until you find something you like, playing around with different synths and stuff, and next thing you know, we had 4 songs, and it's like, oh shit, they all go together so well. And yeah, a lot of it was also old demos that we kind of just dug up, and it's like, okay, let's reinvent this. And yeah,
like we have like a nice, it's kind of a cool setup, like a shared Google Drive that the band has, and we can all access it. And we were kind of going through just thinking about song ideas. Like we already had a couple in mind that we wanted to use for the EP, and we ended up stumbling upon, we knew Stiv kind of had like a concept EP he made a while ago, and then we kind of started looking at that and thinking, well, like these songs are actually like really solid. And then we kind of started taking little snippets of some songs and going like, you know what, like this breakdown would fit well with this song, actually kind of rearranging it all so it sounded like the best that it possibly could. And it ended up making the entire EP. And we're like really happy with how that turned out, and for the end process.
Yeah, for me, like vocally, I mean, like you were saying, like most of it was honestly already written more or less by Stiv. It was just about piecing things together, like Ali said. Vocally, I came in and just wrote fresh lyrics. Like Stiv had some ideas because obviously, like he was saying, a lot of it was like a concept he had from before. So he kind of threw those ideas on me, and I just built the lyrics around that while kind of trying to keep that core theme going, but then also, you know, obviously making it my own a little bit. And then obviously, like, as I know I've told you in past episodes we've done together, bro, like, you know, I like making my lyrics a little bit more not necessarily like super straight to the point. Like you can somewhat put your own, you know, thoughts and stuff like that into it. But then at the same time too, like we're a beatdown band. So some of it also has to just be like, I'm a fucking punch you in the face. You know what I mean? So
you gotta have like your one, I'm going to punch you in the face quota per song.
Yeah. There's gotta be one bleh and one motherfucker somewhere in there, a song.
That's awesome. When I think it's cool, like when you're taking stuff that, because I know, like, you know, Seagrave has been around for a while, and then also Stiv, you've been writing music for fucking years, so it's always cool to go back and take something that you can then work on as the 4 of you now as this cohesive unit, and just be like, hey, like this song sounds a certain way, but then it's like, well, once we get all 4 of us working on this, it's going to sound totally different.
Yeah, big time. That was a big thing we said. I mean, even now, like, I'm not going to lie, like the EP's not even out. We're already writing new stuff now. And yeah, it's cool to finally, because our whole set up until now, up until this EP was like just the stuff, like basically the Sunnyvale set more or less before we were even Seagrave, and just kind of like maybe a couple small changes here and there and stuff like that. But like, so to finally be able to sit down and write stuff together is awesome. Not just like be like, oh, we have these 5 tracks, like that's what we're gonna play. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely. I think it works to have, you know, an actual, and especially one that works so well together with these 4 songs. Like I mentioned, like that's how it was written, I would have to assume, where it all works so well together. It flows into each other production wise. It's like the whole classic thing of like, it's like one big continuous song. So I already know just by hearing how this EP is, like it would just crush at a show because I assume you're going to try and have no breaks in between the songs, right? You're not going to stop and be like, all right, motherfuckers, this is like, I'm going to see you're going to try and keep it going.
The one thing like I really pushed for Stiv to have when we were like working on this is I just love cohesive albums or EPs where it's just a seamless transition between each song, because it kind of like doesn't give you a break to like, you know, maybe like oh, I'm gonna like turn the EP off, like take a little pause from the music, and you know, forget about it or something. Like, no, like this is like 4 songs that kind of go into each other, like just front to back. Like you can sit down and listen to it and not get bored or anything. And same thing with our live set too. I just love like we have like little transition pieces between the music, so it's not like an awkward pause for the crowd to kind of just stand there and then start talking to their friends. Like I want it to be like a show, like we're putting on a whole show for you. And you know, like there's just no pauses. Like even like between our last songs, like we do have like a little pause, but it's barely there, and then we're right back to guerrilla riffs. And yeah,
I like
just
that
love like
guerrilla
the whole
riffs.
seamless. Yeah,
Guerrilla warfare riffage.
yeah,
And by that we mean literal gorillas, like not.
yeah. Beat in your chest riffs that just slap you in the face.
Yeah, that's fucking sick. I love it. Yeah, I think that having that, I keep the word cinematic keeps coming to mind for me, which just like I can tell you guys really, as you're writing this, it's like, and as you're doing even like the layout of the EP, the way that the songs are in the order they are, it just lends itself so well to the live performance, which I know that's something you guys are all about as a band. You want to have that, a killer live performance and a killer actual performance instead of just playing the songs and standing there. Like you're a performing band. So obviously that lends itself well to you guys having that more of a kind of a cinematic sound.
Yeah, once Stiv started adding those horns and stuff, it got so epic.
Dude, wait, trust me, we're gonna talk about those fucking horns and shit, because I was, as I often do when I listen to these, I'm like doing the dishes in my kitchen and I have my headphones on and I'm standing there and like, you know, crushing. I love it. Tons of dynamics. Like I can't wait to hear about these songs individually. But then the way the EP ended off, like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, that's how you're going to end up. Like, that's, it's ballsy, I think, but also like, it's so fucking cool. I was like, that's just chef's kiss. It was just, yeah, it was fucking great.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say the way that you said it perfectly sums it up, like cinematic, like that's exactly how I feel with the EP. Like we're all huge movie buffs and stuff too. So we really wanted like the backing tracks and the production that backs up the instrumentals to be like super cinematic, like very just epic sounding. And
yeah, no, for sure. As far as with, you just mentioned like with the production and that, who did you guys work with as far as recording it and doing the production for this?
So we did most of the tracking ourselves. The only thing we tracked that wasn't us was I did all the vocals with Ty from the band Loser. And then his production partner, Jules, who's this guy over in France, is the one who did all the mix and master on everything.
That's pretty cool. If someone in France do the mixing, that's sick. I don't know why that just seems like that's the beauty of the internet, right? You can,
yeah, exactly.
You can do shit like that, but
no, they got it in the sense like, you know, Ty especially, like he just super knew kind of how we wanted it to sound. Like it just needs to sound fucking ignorant as shit.
I love that.
So, you know, he kind of got that. And then even like when I went over to track, like I really wanted to go, I didn't want to track vocals myself. I actually wanted to go with him because he's also a vocalist. So obviously he'd have like good ideas of things to change up or like how I should maybe phrase things or whatever. And he did. Like some of his ideas definitely made it on the EP that sound fucking awesome. It was a pretty crazy fucking couple days because I laid out all the vocals in 2 days. Like I did 2 like 9-hour sessions to lay the vocals out. So
how the hell do you keep your voice going for 9 hours? I'm just curious. Like how the fuck do you
beer
do
and
that?
Cigarettes?
That's the secret, kids.
It's funny, even like our good friends in Sown, like the vocalist Ali, she's like we just did a run with them in September, which was fucking awesome, and it was really great getting to know all of them. And I've known Ali for a little while, like her and I have chatted a fair bit, and it's just funny because being out on the run, she's like, you know, doing the typical, and I'm not shitting on it at all, but she's doing the typical like vocalist thing. Like she's like drinking tea and she's like not trying to like talk too much. And she's like, oh, I can't drink before we play because it'll fuck my throat up. And then there's me. I'm like, fucking no warm up. I had 4 beers. I'm going to have a dart and then we're going on stage. So let's go. She's like, I don't know how the fuck.
They're sick. Yeah.
She's like, I don't know how the fuck you do that, but
I guess it just comes like how long have you been doing live vocals for? Like it just comes
oh my
with time,
God.
I guess, right?
Well,
like,
I'm 32 now. I started when I was like 16, 17. So
yeah, so like you got some years. I don't know how long she's been doing it for, but yeah, you got some wear on the tires, so to speak.
it's more, I wouldn't even say it's like, it's not like conditioning. It's just abuse. I just built up.
That's crazy. As far as for you, Ali, I wanted to ask you because the last time that I assume aside from doing, obviously you were doing like some covers and stuff that you were recording, obviously at home doing some bass covers and that, but this was the first time that you had recorded anything that was going to be like on an EP or album since the days with Out of My League. How was it sitting down and just ripping some bass again in that way?
So actually, this EP, I kind of wanted to try it for a while now, but we did this EP MIDI bass. So actually, yeah, it was mostly Stiv programming it. So like we did the last 2 singles I tracked here with Chris and Stiv, and I was like, you know what, we're kind of on a time crunch right now, and like I know like the bass is gonna get edited a lot. I mean, that's just how it is with EPs and everything. Like a lot of it, even the drums and everything, you know, it gets edited a shit ton. So yeah, I was like, you know what, like I'm not the type of musician where if like I'm not on an album or something, like I freak out and I'm like, you know, like get like possessive or anything. Like I was like, let's just try it. Like Chris was showing me some of one of his last bands. They tried MIDI bass as well, and I was like, you know what, that sounds pretty mint for what it is. And yeah, so like Stiv put the effort in to go and, you know, write all the MIDI out for it. And it actually ended up sounding pretty sick. But I think going forward, we're going to go back to tracking bass IRL, you know, like, because it kind of is missing like a little bit of the clankiness that I like. So, you know, it for what it is, it sounds great. And yeah, that's pretty much that for the bass.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because I wouldn't have known that, right? Because like I think that he did pretty great as far as capturing your tone. Because I was like, there's a couple moments where I was like, that's that dirty alley tone that I love. But like, so it's interesting to hear that. I would not have guessed that it was Mini, but I can understand what you mean as far as a little bit of that liveliness maybe. When there's,
yeah, it was definitely something. It was definitely something we wanted to try out. Like Ali said, though, we're definitely going to go back to just like tracking bass. Because even with like I was saying earlier, like, you know, the EP's not even out. We've started writing new stuff, and we've had Ali live tracking on that, and just the difference. We're like, yeah, we should have just fucking done that on the EP, but whatever, right? It's, you know, our first EP, shit's a learning experience, right? So it still sounds good, obviously, on the EP. So it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world, but we definitely know what we want more so going forward.
Definitely. So yeah, for you, Doug, how was your experience working with that? How did the drums work out for you?
It's kind of the same deal as Ali.
Okay, it was kind of MIDI as well.
They're MIDI, but I program it at home and I send it over to Chris and Stiv, and they got to map it out to their map and everything. And
that's fucking wild to me. Like I still think it's like 2003 sometimes, and like that shit just doesn't exist. So
unfortunately, I would much prefer to actually get in a studio. It's just hard to do it. But for next album, hopefully I'm able to do live drums.
Yeah, the problem with drums in general with production is like it's the most expensive part by far.
Oh, for sure.
Because you spend so long even just like setting mics up to make sure everything's in the right spot when you're live track drums and stuff like that. So, you know, that's why we didn't go with it on this EP, because it's like, you know, the whole fucking budget, marketing included, probably would have just been drum tracking. But definitely something we want to do for sure, without a doubt. You can't beat that live drum sound, even though MIDI nowadays is fucking insane with how far it's come. But
and these songs I've played for a long time, so I know exactly how I want them to sound and how I would play them. So I was just able
it's almost like you're kind of
as close as I could possibly get.
Yeah. I do understand that that's like, it's way, obviously it's much cheaper to do it that way than it is to, and it takes less time and everything. So yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
It's not ideal, but it definitely works out. Next album should be in the studio though, I think. Will be live drums.
That'd be definitely cool. There's definitely something to that, right? That natural reverb and everything.
Of course.
There's something
hearing
to
your
that
actual self played back. Yeah, it would be a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, it'll be, it'll still make it. It's not like you're not playing these songs yourself live or anything. It's not like you're going to be like, we also have MIDI drums live. So like, it's like I just stand
that's
there.
The thing. I programmed them to be like as close as I possibly could to how I actually play them. Like,
that's like the one thing with this EP too. Like we wanted to come across like, again, like our music is relatively pretty simple, but we like it to be like perfect sounding. Like every note hit is like perfect on the beat and on time. So like, even if it is like, like programmed by like a computer, like it hits so hard. But like it definitely comes across like it definitely, like this EP is going to freaking melt your ears off. I hope to anyone who listens to it.
For sure. It does. Cause I wouldn't have known any of that. Like I just assumed that it fucking, so that's a kudos to you guys as well, because it's like production wise, cause like it sounds fucking killer. When we got it back, like we were just blown away. Like it was like barely any changes had to be done to it. Like it was great. Like they just knew the sound we were going for with it. And it came back and we were just ourselves, like we got in Chris's car and we're like, we got to listen to this right now. And we were like so stoked on it. That's fucking awesome. As far as the whole guitar world, Stiv, I have to ask, like, I mean, just first off, what fucking tuning were you using now? Because like the last time I talked to you, you were in like drop F or some shit. Like what are you doing now with the guitars in the
double drop C sharp?
Get the fuck out of here. Double. So what is that? That would be.
So it's like
G or some shit. Like
no, it's like, so double. You know how a normal guitar is E standard, you put that in drop D, you bring it down 1, you're in drop C sharp, you bring it down 12 more, that's where I'm at.
Get the fuck out. How do you I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't quite get it either.
He's like, I don't really get it either. And it's not a slight or anything, by the way, either. Like, I think it's fucking sick. Like I just don't even understand how that, like, I'm just like blown away how that works. And I'm also curious how the fuck you're doing that on bass, Ali. Cause like, it just, I saw the video of the playthrough video you guys did for Leader of the Pack the other day. And I'm watching those strings just fucking bounce. And I'm like, how? Like, I remember setting up Ali's bass for drop C, for God's sakes. And like, it was like, that was a pain in the ass doing the 4-string thing. And now
he just does the regular drop C sharp on the bass though, but he's actually,
right.
Tuning, right?
Yeah. We're in the same tuning,
technically. Tuning as the bass.
Yeah. Like I'm in a bass tuning and he's just in normal drop C sharp. And it just works. Like that's what Meshuggah does. Right. Most low tune bands do that. And it just hits so hard.
Oh
yeah. I was gonna say like it's kind of crazy. Like I can just go into Long and McQuaid and grab a bass off the shelf and just slap some like thicker gauge strings on it, and it's fine. Like I don't have to use like some Dingwall 5-string fan fret like bass where I'm like using like a 170 gauge string and like it's thicker than my finger type of thing. And it's kind of crazy because like that's the compliment, like one of the number one compliments we get at shows is our tones. Like they're just the bass and guitar, the way we have it, it's so punchy. And like if I was like actually tuned that low, it would just be like a very muddy sounding, like even with like the amp I have and everything, it would just be super muddy and clanky. And it wouldn't work that well. So the way we have it right now is just, it's great. Like they just complement each other so well.
You're in like the negative hertz when you tune
on the topic of the bass tuning. Way before we found Ali, I did try an experiment where I can't even remember the name of the bass, but basically it's a 38-inch scale length, so it's long as hell. I got custom Callium strings. I think the highest gauge is like 240 or something. Like, it's ridiculous. It's
Good God.
like the size of a penny. And I tried tuning it down to like an octave below C sharp, and there's just nothing there. Like,
Yeah,
you
you
just
can't
can't hear it. It's inaudible. But
That's
it was
like
a fun
the guys-
experiment nonetheless.
That's like the guys that would use they'd use the Digitech whammy pedals for their down tuning.
Yeah.
And they tune super, like they tune as low as you are, but like, well, maybe not quite as low, actually. Let me rephrase that. And like they would tune pretty low for a normal person. And they would like use then they found the Digitech pedal, the drop pedal, whatever that thing's called. So then their guitars would be in like D sharp or some shit, drop D sharp,
Yeah.
but they'd be tuned to like G sharp or whatever the fuck. Like,
Beat
and
the
I never
tension.
understood that. I remember I set up a baritone once for a guy and he was like, yeah, I use it in like D sharp, drop D sharp. And I was like, well, why the fuck are you using a baritone then? Well, it's more for the look. I was like, what?
Well, it's
He's like,
actually
yeah,
kind
use
of
the
my
drop pedal.
secret. I use a Digitech drop pedal too. I'm technically
Well, yeah,
only
you
tuned to
have
drop
to.
E.
There's
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
like-
Brandon from Itis, the guitarist in Itis, he tunes to double drop D, so only one above us, but he doesn't use a drop pedal.
that's wild.
I don't know how the hell he does it, but his tone is gnarly in itself.
Oh, yeah.
It just sounds so tight. It's like, I'm very jealous.
Strings just flapping in the wind.
Yeah, but it
Well, and I was
sounds
wondering
so
what
good.
your secret was because I was like, there's got to be like there's something
Secrets
you're
out.
doing. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't fucking understand how that would work. But at least you're not keeping your guitar in like standard tuning and then dropping it down with
Yeah,
that like the
no,
whole
that-
way.
that
I'm
would
like, that's
just
just
be
lame,
ridiculous.
man. Like, because then you pick up the guitar and to like play it and it's like it's in like drop D. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's the same, whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, it's just
I
that
find with
always
the-
was weird to me.
I find with the Digitech drop pedals, like if you go anywhere below 3 semitones, it just sounds super muddy. It's not even worth it. If you're doing the whammy, on the other hand, that's just always cool sounding. You just don't keep it there. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. You can't just like riff on that because it just
Yeah.
sounds weird. But also, maybe that sounds cool. Maybe that's what you're looking for. That's the thing. As far as like the just as we get ready to jump into the actual listen here, walk me through a little bit the actual like background stuff that's going on as far as how the writing process for that went. Like, how do you just like sit down and I mean, obviously, like, I'm assuming it's MIDI, obviously, because to hire a fucking full orchestra would cost like, talking about drum budget. Let's talk about the orchestral budget.
Well, actually, we rented out a studio in Toronto and we hired a whole ass orchestra, and that's where
that would
our
make
entire
my
budget
day
went
if you
towards.
guys told me that right now.
Yeah,
Like,
we actually,
Maybe.
that's why we did MIDI bass. We couldn't afford to track bass because we put all the money into the orchestra.
yeah, what's like the most obscure? Yeah, we hired a professional, like, what's that instrument? Batoon, whatever the fuck that thing is. Oh shit, the hell that thing called? That,
tuba?
like, it's like a horn. No, it's like a. Oh shit, it's a bass. It's a brass instrument, but it's like a bass brass instrument. Whatever, the joke's over. Oh, yeah, sorry,
I think I
guys.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know,
I want
bassoon.
to know what the
Bassoon.
Yeah,
Bassoon?
that sounds right.
Bassoon. Is that a thing?
Bassoon.
Yeah, bassoon. Yeah. That's the bassoon. It's like a big fucking thing and it sounds hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, that's you guys hired a professional bassoon orchestra, but you couldn't. You had to go with the MIDI bass and the MIDI drums.
Gotta get
because of
it.
that.
Get a didgeridoo.
Priorities, you know?
Well, then obviously hiring Joey Diaz as your spokesperson too. Like that's that costs some money too.
No, like for all the backing and orchestral, like Steve and I like mostly sat down and wrote a lot of that together. Like same with the last 2 tracks too, even with Onslaught and stuff like that. We kind of just sat down. It was like, I think piano here would sound cool. And Steve's a huge brass guy. Like all the brass is all him. I'm more like, I like violins and piano, but yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it fits so well to be in there, and I think you guys really even took it a step further on this. And there's a certain level of
I don't want to say like growth, because like, I mean, you guys had Onslaught and that, like you guys had a killer sound, but I almost feel like as we're jumping into this here, like there's a little bit more of just a rounded, like here's exactly what we're going to be going for. Here's here's Seagrave. This is the self-titled EP. Here it is. What the fuck's up? Like, I kind of feel like that's the kind of vibe I get from it overall. Am I wrong to say that?
No, not at all. And that's pretty much what we intended, to be honest. We were like, you know, the singles are good and people like them and shit. And obviously we like them and stuff, but they're all like a little bit different, right? So we were like, you know, for this EP, let's really hone in what we're trying to go for and make sure that that's what we put out.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. That's awesome. Well, I think it is high time that we dive in and hear these tracks. So guys, you're going to hear, it's going to be just one after the other of just fucking gut punches. We have Runt of the Litter, which is the first song. We have Leader of the Pack, which is, of course, you guys have, I'm sure you've heard the single, Edge of the Woods, and then Thrill of the Chase. So this right here on the Harder Show, exclusive first listen of Seagrave's brand new self-titled EP. Crank it up, and then we'll come back with Seagrave to talk about the tracks. Enjoy, guys.
Forever trapped in sorrow.
All right, guys, you just got an exclusive first listen to Seagrave's brand new EP that is coming out on October 25th. A full 20 days early, you guys got to hear the tracks. We heard in order here: Runt of the Litter, Leader of the Pack, Edge of the Woods, and Thrill of the Chase. And we got the boys, everyone's here from Seagrave, and we're going to do a little track by track commentary for you guys. So, boys, let's just jump in head first here. Runt of the Litter. I just got to say for myself, I was saying to you guys earlier how there's nothing I love more than when I think, like, I thought it was going to be just like immediate punch, heavy caveman riff, let's fucking go. And obviously it has that, but like I turned it on and I'm, sitting doing the dishes and I hear this like fucking cool, like almost dare I say, like industrial metal-esque, like kind of shit going on. I don't know if it's like a synth or what the fuck it is, and you can tell me about that. But like, I was like, what's that? Like, what? And I look at my phone, and I'm like, this is the track. Like, what the fuck? And then obviously, as it like kicked in, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is sick. Like, it really blew me away. So walk me through Run to the Litter for you guys, and kind of anything you have to say about it as far as like the writing process and the actual track itself.
I actually wrote the song like 5 years ago, and it was like a completely different sounding thing, but the main thing was all the synths that are there. Like, I was trying to make basically something that would fit on like the Doom soundtrack.
Yes, that's the phrasing I was trying to find in my brain. I was like, it was like a Doom song. Like, what the fuck? This is sick.
And I just kind of put it on the back burner. I never thought it would see the light of day. And then we're just going through like old files and just demos I made back in the day. And surprisingly, they liked that one. It's like, okay, so we completely reworked it. Like, it was a very different song back then and pretty dull listening back to it now. But yeah, we just threw like the hardcore beat on and whew.
Yeah, like I remember sitting at work and like Chris was just going through the drive and he's like, boys, and he just sends a link to it. And he's like, dude, this song fucks. And we're like, hell yeah. Like, let's just take this and
this song fucks.
Yeah, we like, I think we, I'm pretty sure like before it like started off with like full instrumental and then we kind of stripped.
There was like a minute long interlude thing before it. It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, we like stripped the guitar away and just did like drum and bass with like over the synth. And it kind of just turned into, like, in the words of Mav from Pneumonia Breath, it's a dick swinger of a song. Like it's just like you just hear it and like you hear the bass and drums going off and you're like, yeah, this is sick.
Like
and then
that.
Chris's vocals just come in over top of it and you're like, this is a vibe. And then
that is a big dick in a locker room. Like, that's just you're just walking in, no towel. Hey guys, what's going on? Did you see the game last night? Everyone's just like, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, like,
I like that.
It's like we open the set with it too, and it just gets people hyped up. Like those like synths live too, like when you add like the bass drops and everything, like live, it just like people are standing there kind of like jamming with like the and they're like, this is cool. And then the first like 808 hits and people go, oh shit. And then like Chris starts hyping everyone up. And then that song makes me super nervous live because like it's like me and Doug coming in. So I'm just, most of the set we have like our backs to the crowd before we turn around, but I'm just standing there like, I hope I come in on time. And then me and Doug do the little eye contact and we just nod our heads and he starts and I'm like, and then it's good from there on.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's such a cool way to start the EP.
Yeah, and it came in like I was literally like drying a dish, and that fucking 808 hit, and I was like, like the dish was like Ralph from The Simpsons, I'm in danger. I had to fucking put it down. I was like, holy shit. For sure. Well, and also like one thing that I thought was so interesting about the song, like the dynamics of, like you're saying, Ali, as far as when the bass and the drum comes in and then Chris comes in with his fucking vocals, like, and it just immediately tears your face off, like in the best way. But there's still the kind of that like I keep using the word cinematic. That's the word I keep going back to when I think of
um, the actual like the songs in total, but then also with Run Through the Litter specifically. As far as for yourself, Chris, vocally, and also like lyrically, like you guys were mentioning how this EP is kind of a well, not kind of, it's a what's the word I'm trying to find here? Like a concept EP. What so like
The cohesive.
yeah. So like just kind of walk me through the actual like you don't have to get into specifics of the lyrics. Kind of you're very much the kind of guy that likes to kind of keeps things pretty loose. But as far as the overall story, I guess, of the EP, kind of walk me through that a little bit, starting off with Run of the Litter.
Yeah, so for Run, I mean, it's like I said, like Stiv kind of had the overarching theme, and then I just kind of like broke it down a little more and stuff. Runt is just very much like your kind of typical like underdog story, right? Like, you know, people you come into the tribe and people are doubting you and you know don't expect anything from you and stuff like that, and just kind of how that feels and being like the outcast sort of thing. That kind of like in a way stereotypical story, but obviously like it's still one that most people can relate to, of course. And yeah, just kind of building it off of there, but then still trying to make things sound, like I said, like, you know, still trying to make parts have that fucking, you know, dick punch, just beat down lyrics, but then kind of also having that overarching story like intertwined.
Yeah, it definitely has that term dick punch. Definitely, yeah. Especially ending and then leading into the next track, which is Leader of the Pack, which obviously also is the single that you guys listening, I'm sure, are very, very familiar with. Walk me through Leader of the Pack a little bit, because one thing I thought was cool, Chris, is obviously, as you know, I've been a fan of you and your voice for well, fucking years now. Really, if we want to get technical.
Really?
And just when I thought like, oh yeah, like I know what Chris can do. Like he's got a killer range. I know exactly what he can do. You fucking have like the dirtiest like low growl I've ever heard you do in a fucking song with Leader of the Pack.
Thanks, man. Yeah, gutturals are definitely a point of mine that I was always lacking in, and I really tried the past few months to kind of like get those up a lot more. One of the biggest compliments I got actually when we put Leader out was like Paul from Cruel Intent, like who in my opinion is probably the dirtiest vocalist going in the scene right now. His lows especially, and like he even messaged me and he's like, "Bro, that fucking guttural is disgusting." Like, so yeah, it's definitely something I've been building up more and more and stuff, and I've finally been able to like translate it live and stuff too, which like I said, gutturals were always like a weak point for me. I couldn't really ever get that low, and you know me, I'm not like a technical vocalist guy, so it's not like I'm going to sit here and be like I'm fucking doing this with my tongue and whatever, but like I just finally kind of got to a point where I kind of figured it out, and yeah, so I try to lay a lot more of those down even live now too and stuff. But you know, I still have to 90% go with just my straight like kind of hardcore voice, those mids, because as I keep getting told all the time, like just my mids just punch, like it's just so pissed. Like,
Which I mean they do. I think that suits Seagrave so well, and I think that's something that that really does separate you guys from a lot of the I guess is the genre called beatdown? Like I don't like is that kind of what
well, I mean,
I'm
beatdown is
so
definitely a lot
unfamiliar with
more
it.
like hardcore influenced, I would say,
Yeah.
than like we are. We just
Mhm.
say beatdown because it's like we're kind of at a weird in between. We're not really like beatdown. We're not really like straight deathcore, but we definitely have all of those elements in there, all
Mhm.
Tempo.
gent elements in there too, and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, I guess if you want to get technical, like we're pretty much just a fucking metalcore band. But
You're a metalcore band with definitely severe deathcore elements, but then also like a front man who also can do hardcore screaming. So it's like you're more the that mid-range voice. That's which
It
you know, I always said that's what I'm a fan of, right? So I thought it was so cool.
it definitely comes out like especially like just all of our backgrounds, like in our like all the bands that we've been in the past and everything. Like it very much shows like especially Stiv, like he's into so many different genres that like when he writes, it's really cool to see like what it sounds like. And then I'm really excited now for like the newer stuff we're going to be writing. It's kind of like all of our influences put together, which will be really cool. Like, cause like I know me and Stiv like really love metalcore. Chris like really loves like the old school hardcore and everything, and Doug just loves fucking like straight deathcore. And um it's just going to be cool to like kind of combine it all with our new music. But I feel like it did very much come across on this EP too, like where we got to, you know, change things and everything. And Leader's like very much um kind of like a good introduction to our new sound, like how it would sound aside from like an intro track, like run, like this is kind of like the first like proper track that you can jam.
Right. One, was that also a reason why I assume so, why you guys chose it to be the single and then also to do a video for it, just because it does encapsulate kind of that new sound you guys are going for with this EP so well?
Yeah, we wanted to do when me and Chris sat down and we were kind of deciding what we want, where we wanted to go with the EP and plan it all out. We kind of wanted two music videos at least for the four tracks. And we do have like a story music video coming for the next song. And we were like, we kind of want like a playthrough style video, like our first proper video. And we are like, you know what, Leader would be perfect just because that ending breakdown is so disgusting. We need it to be heard and seen properly. And yeah, we got to work with some amazing people on that video, and it turned out so much better than we thought it would. And it was a really fun experience. And it's great too because it's a shorter song. Like, you know, music videos, you're going to be playing the song like 30 times in a row. So it was great that it wasn't a 5-minute track, having to play that many times. And it kind of helped us practice the track too for live.
It's always good to do that. And what I think is so cool about the video, I was gonna bring it up. The classic like singing into the light thing, like it has been done a lot, but one thing that I thought was so fucking cool as soon as I saw it was Chris is singing into like what are those lights called where you hang them on your car or some shit? Like what, like he's singing into one of those. I guess it's like just like a light or some shit. I thought that, I don't know why. I just was like, that's fucking sick. Like, because it looks so like industrial and
Yeah,
dirty,
adds
I
to
guess.
the vibe.
And the whole video has that, and just Chris is progressively getting more like fucking like bloodied up and shit. Like, I thought that was so cool. The whole concept of the video.
Yeah, for sure. Like Ali was saying, so Edge of the Woods is going to be coming out October 11th. By the time this podcast is out, we would have announced that by now. So, the next video that's coming out is much more of like almost like a fucking short film, like a short horror movie, so to speak. There's no performance shots in it at all, but it's still a wild ride of a video. That's why, like you said, you know, we wanted to make sure the first one was pretty much just a completely performance video, so that we didn't have, you know, two that were kind of like, especially being the first one you put out, right? You got to have it where it's like, okay, this is the band. You know what I mean? So
Right.
It made sense to make that one first, even though, in my opinion, anyway, I think, like, obviously I love Leader. I love all the songs on the EP, but in my opinion, Edge is the greasiest one on the EP and definitely kind of encapsulates everything I think we're going for, probably almost more than Leader in a way. But we just felt like, you know, we needed to have a bit more of a build up to put that out first, you know, build a bit more of a bit more hype, a bit more following before putting out that banger of a track, so it has the best possible chance to like get traction, get us a little more attention on top of that, right? So
It's funny you mentioned horror elements, which is cool as fuck for Edge of the Woods. Because as I was listening to it, especially like I think it's like like there's like organs going in the background and in the bridge part there. Like I thought it was so very horror-esque. So I'm not surprised to hear that you're going to do kind of like a horror or like video, because I think that is going to fit so well. And as someone who's like super into horror, I was like, that's like Edge is, it's definitely my favorite song on the EP. I think it is just like you said, Chris, like it's just fucking, I was just like, this is greasy. But then also, like I said, and like I keep saying, cinematic. I can't fucking wait to see that video because I know it's gonna fit so well with Edge of the Woods.
yeah, we got really lucky with that video too. You know, being able to work with Dom from you know, who's obviously with Ali and Out of My League, and he's a great you know, filmmaker too on his way up. So he had some really sick ideas. Him and his girlfriend M, like they went fucking insanely above and beyond what we thought they were going to for that video. I mean, you know, we all showed up to shoot and it was like, you know, we were expecting certain things and stuff like that. And then to actually see what they produced as far as like, you know, set design, costumes, ideas they had for shots, like just insanely exceeded our expectations. And yeah, we can't wait for people to see it because it's a pretty fucking crazy video, to be honest. Like we got all sorts of like special effects in there and all sorts like it's really neat.
That's awesome. Big shout outs to Dom. That's gonna be killer. As far as the track itself, one thing that for you, Steph, that I've always really appreciated about your playing, and I've said this before, is I love, and it's something more as I progress in age of a music fan, I appreciate more like those little parts that are in the background of a song. Like you maybe like the average person isn't maybe going to pick up on, you know, that one little guitar lead that's in the background, that one ambient part. But for me, like I live for that shit because there's nothing better than just when you're vibing with a song and then you hear just that little like I don't know why, just that shit gets my proverbial music boner hard, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that something that you like? How do you just sit and write that? Like, do you just literally fill things in, or do you, when you're writing a dirty riff, are you like, oh yeah, this needs this needs that? Like, how does the writing process for you for that?
Well, basically, I'm a big prog rock guy, and when it comes to like writing a song, I always think of specifically when it comes to layering things on top of it. I'm very much inspired by like Pink Floyd and King Crimson, and just the stories I've heard of like them. All right, the song's done, and then they spend like fucking 2 weeks just sitting at a Mellotron or whatever, and just adding more and more to it. And I just love implementing that into this kind of music where it's not really the norm.
Yeah, I think that's super important, especially in the metal genre. It's something I've said before on the show. Like there definitely can be some stale elements in heavier music if you're not careful. Like I think there has to be growth in metal music right now, which everyone in the entire metal scene, not just locally, but like everyone's killing it. Like there's been no like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you listen to something and it's like, oh, this sounds just like the last thing you released. Like it's the exact same. It's nothing different. Like it's just, yeah, like it's cool, but like I think having growth and having like cool little things you can throw in and try stuff out. And I don't think there can be such thing as adding too much. I think that's cool to hear.
I've definitely added too much in the past. So sometimes they really have to tell me to chill. I'm like, no, but it's perfect as is. No,
I mean, like this tank sound is fucking awesome.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna say like every time that we like going from like just how we played it live to like every time there was an update, there would just be more and more that Steve would add. But it was like cool, it was nice, and it's one of those things that people can appreciate when they hopefully re-listen to the album or EP like time and time again. Like you can pick up on more little like pick sweeps or like harmonics or something that were added to the songs, and just like little things in the background. And especially too, like whenever like there's a track that we have written and like Stiv just kind of like, or Chris lays down like just the drums, like the simple drums we just have, and then when we send it to Doug and then he sends back his fucking drums, it like completely changes the song too. And he's such a beast of a drummer. It's like, it's insane. Like when I first joined the band, like I've jammed with like drummers in the past and everything, and like they've all been like, such a like so great to work with. And then Doug just like the first time I jammed with Seagrave, I think it was the drums that stood out to me the most. And like just hats off to Doug. Like he's such a fucking amazing drummer. And like he just adds so much little things to the track, like the ding and everything and edge. Like it's so great. Just like little things you can pick up on.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's just like all the when it's again, it's when all the little things come together and make this track. It's great.
Yeah, for you, Doug, like it's cool to I mean, it's always cool to hear bandmates say things like that about other bandmates, obviously. But that's what I thought was so cool about you as obviously a very technical metal drummer. you're not afraid to throw things in there that are a little more like, dare I say, like kind of more of like a progressive metal type thing. If that makes
Right.
sense.
And with it being MIDI too, I can like experiment with all the different types of fills just with the click of a couple buttons, and just like that's like it's really good for writing songs too, right? And just gives me all the different ideas to just throw in there. And I'd like to try new things all the time and just try different fills for different parts and put a bell here. I can
A bell
it
here,
up
a ding here.
see what sounds the best. Yeah, like I go
8-minute
through
drum solo here, whatever's
Yeah.
needed.
That's one thing I always found sick.
I try to keep it pretty simple though.
Yeah, I was just gonna add on to that. Like the one thing I always appreciated about Doug is like it's so funny. Like you listen to him in like Pillars, for example, and he's doing like the most technical shit. It's like all blast beats, like 230 BPM, and then like, but then he has no problem like coming to us and just laying down like a simple fucking breakdown that's like 70 BPM and not actually doing anything that's like too flary and just lets the I guess like ignorance speak for itself of the track,
Keep it in the pocket.
Yeah. Which I always like, to me, that's always the sign of a good musician is like, you have to know how to like play the song that you're playing. You know what I mean? Not to like try and show off too much, not to try and like make it anything that it's not, if that makes sense.
Do whatever suits the song the best.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Go through trial and error until you're happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny, just on that note, like with the next song, which is also the last song of the EP, Thrill of the Chase, I thought that as far as from a drum standpoint and also a bass standpoint, even if it is MIDI and whatnot, just the actual drum work, like the way that you wrote the drums, it's my favorite on the whole record. I just the little intricate fills that you did. It wasn't super like everyone's saying, it's not like fucking blast beats for the sake of blast beats. Like you can tell, okay, there's really some thought put into this. It suits the song so well. And I was going to compliment your footwork, which I know obviously you wrote it so you can play it live, obviously, but even like
for the EP,
like yeah, right.
It's like how I play it, because those songs are older.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same, obviously. Like, just it's not like you're just like there's little fills and breaks in there. Like I don't fuck all about drums, so like I don't know the proper terms, but like there's these little breaks in there, and then like even the bridge section when you guys have like kind of the bass and drum part just before that breakdown that you and Ali have going, like it fucking works so well. I got fucking goosebumps. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome.
It's definitely our most like, I guess, technical song to like that Seagrave has made to date. Like just I remember when I was learning it, like I think I mentioned on the last podcast, me and you, like when I joined Seagrave, they were so ready, like they had guitar playthroughs and bass playthroughs already made. And for this song, I remember it wasn't one of the first songs I learned because we didn't start playing it live for a while. And I was watching the playthrough and I was like, remember I talked to Steve, I was like, fuck me, man. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to learn this one like that well. Like, cause he's got some like cool little parts in there. Like, I was like, there's some finger movement going on that I'm not used to. And I remember I sat down for like, I think 2 days straight because I was like, I want to get this song down. And I was like trying to learn it. I was like pausing the video, going back, pausing, going back, trying to learn the track. And then honestly, it ended up being like, it's my favorite song to play live now, just because like the added like little things here and there, like all the added little notes and everything that we get to play. And then, and plus the way it ends is just so epic. Like even like on the EP and in a live setting, it's such a great ending for people to experience. And it, it gives us time to do like a nice little long breakdown at the end, like under the horns and everything. And again, like it's just like a nice, huge cinematic ending. We wanted to end it off on the right note.
Yeah, like, and you guys do that. I mean, again, I'm in my kitchen
And I fucking just, those horns kicked in, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I was like, what? It felt like the world was just ending around me as those horns kicked in. I was like, Jesus. I've said a lot on the show as far as when I do like EP showcases and album showcases. Like, to me, the biggest difference between a good EP and a good album, when the album is over, say it's like an 11-track album, I want to feel fulfilled at the end of it as far as like whatever story you're trying to tell, whether it be lyrically or musically, is all wrapped up. Whereas with an EP, I want to feel fulfilled, but like, fuck, I want, like, what the fuck? I want more. Like, oh my God, like what, like what the shit? And what's so cool about the way this EP ends off, like you're saying, Ali, very cinematic, very epic. I had that feeling of like, holy shit, like I fucking needed a cigarette afterwards. But then also I'm like, fuck, I want more still. Like, so I think that's cool for an EP. You don't want like okay, yeah, this is cool. Like, I feel like it's almost like it's almost, I guess it's like the difference between watching like a movie and watching like a weekly series, if that makes any sense. Like, it's still, you feel good, but like maybe there's like a little bit of a cliffhanger. It's like, I want to see what comes after these fucking horns, like one day, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As far as the actual horns itself, I got to ask, like, was that just something that you guys just like threw in? Like, Steve, were you just literally like, hey guys, here's some fucking horns? Like, how did that?
Pretty much the way it actually ended up ending with the horns like being by themselves, that was kind of a happy accident. That originally wasn't supposed to be there. When we went to track vocals with Ty, he was just showing us like how his mix is sounding, and I don't know how, but I guess that the specific track for the horns got moved a couple bars late, and we're like, oh shit, yeah, that's how it ends. But originally, yeah, the horns in the background and all that, that's the entire song is just open notes. It needed something a little bit more. So
It used to just ring out this stuff.
Exactly.
And now it does the whole part.
Yeah.
The end break.
The horns like like ending off the world or some shit. That's what it feels like to me. I'm like, holy shit! Like,
a very happy accident.
That's awesome. Hey, sometimes the happy accidents can make some really cool shit, right?
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, that's it. That's awesome. Well, overall, like I said, the word cinematic keeps coming to mind for me. I think it is just a brilliant fucking EP, top to bottom, and I can't wait for you guys to really get out and start playing some fucking shows for this. I can really start playing these songs more and more, because I think that the reaction, like already the reaction is great from them, but like I just can't I can't imagine people aren't going to be like just fucking hyped once this EP's out to then hear these songs live in full.
Yeah, we're really hoping so, man. So we're hitting up Quebec October 20th and 21st. We'll be in Quebec City and Drummondville, and then Barrie October 27th, and then the official EP release show is going to be at Sneaky D's on Halloween weekend, October 28th. It's a fucking banger of a bill. We're bringing Observance back with us from Quebec, Beguiler, obviously our good brothers, and then Wishender, who fucking destroys too. If you haven't listened to them, highly recommend checking them out. But yeah, man, like, it's funny, we were just saying, like you're just saying, with the happy accident with the horns and stuff like that. It's funny when something like that, or something that comes very quickly, ends up actually being like one of the best parts of a song or like a piece of music. Like in Edge of the Woods, that call out with the breakdown and then the gunshot, like that, those lyrics and how I phrase that for that breakdown is like, I fucking thought of that kind of off the cuff. Like Steve and I were tracking like pre-production vocals, and I was like, yo, hold up, listen to this. And I did it, and Steve's like, oh my fucking God, yeah, that's staying.
Yeah, that can stay. Sometimes it's just those happy accidents or those quick things, right? That can, some of the best songs in history were written in 5 minutes, right? Like that's
exactly
a crazy thing.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. That's killer. Well, boys, it's been great getting to chat with you and kind of break down
this EP in full, and then obviously getting to hear it a whole 20 days early, exclusively here on the Hotto Show. I appreciate the fuck out of it because it's gonna be cool, and I can't wait to start getting some feedback from this episode because I know people are gonna just lose their fucking minds when they hear this.
Yeah, man. We can't say enough how much we appreciate, everything. I mean, letting us do this, and then also too, like, over the years, letting us do stuff and come on here to plug stuff. I mean, shit, at this point, this has to be my like fucking 8th or 9th episode with you or something.
I was trying to count. I was trying to figure it out the other day. You're definitely in my top. I think it's top 7 or 6 of people who have been repeat. And number 1 and 2, you'll probably never beat just because of the early days of the show. I think I've said that before, but like, yeah,
Right.
you're definitely one of my most repeat at this point. Always.
No, for sure. It's also nice to be able to like finally do this with like the full band too, because every time it's either been like just me and Stiv or just me or just Ali. So
yeah, next time we're gonna fucking do it in person next time. I know I always say that, but like I'm always like, bro, like I almost would have been able to make it happen this time, and it was just time crunch. I wanted to make sure that we got this out in time, so there was some lead up to the EP release. But I appreciate it very much, and appreciate you guys making just some fucking bangers that I'm going to be jamming for the next next while.
No, thanks, man, and hopefully you won't have to wait too long for even new stuff. Like I said, the EP is not even out yet. We're already working on new stuff, so I'm not gonna shoot ourselves in the foot and give a deadline on that, but I can't imagine it'll be nearly as long of a wait as it was for this stuff.
Okay, and it didn't even feel like it was that long of a wait either, like really in the grand scheme of things.
So, I mean, it felt like it to us. I mean, when did we put out wall painting? That was like in like March.
It's been a while.
March, so March to October.
It's been a while. Yes, it has been. So that makes sense. I get it.
Yeah,
but yeah, especially when you're working on something as hard as you guys work as a band. Like I know how hard you guys work. I see how much you guys work. I see everyone else talking about how hard you guys all work. Like it's just it's inspiring as a creator who haven't really been super active the last couple months, seeing you guys just fucking kicking ass. It's just awesome to see.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we really try and treat the band like a second full-time job, as any band who wants to do anything should. I'm grateful that, obviously Ali being a great addition to the band in total, he's also been a great addition to being able to help me with like socials and visuals and everything like that. So him and I have become a really good team when it comes to like how we present the band, our branding, like content, all that, because that's all like Stiv and Doug handle the production side. It's all me and Ali for like socials, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So
which is super important. Just a nice cohesive unit.
Yeah, for sure.
Super important to have that for a band. You got to look after your brand, folks. That's super, super important.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got like your band is a small business essentially, right? So your music is your product as well as your merch, all that kind of stuff. You have to treat it like a business. It has to be, it's not called the music business for nothing. So
yeah, it's not called the music fun time. Like, yes, it's fun and it should be fun still while being a business, but like it's called the music business for a reason.
Exactly.
Actually, well, on the note of socials and stuff, where can the good people find Seagrave and also any merch or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so Instagram, we're seagrave.core. Facebook is Seagrave, but it's kind of with that weird triangle emoji in our name. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get rid of that. So it's kind of annoying to find. If you go to Linktree, though, our Linktree is just /Seagrave905, and it has links to all of our stuff. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. It's got a link in there to our merch store, which is just Big Cartel Seagrave as well. We'll ship anywhere worldwide. We got, actually, by the time this comes out, we'll have a bunch of new merch out too. 2 new shirts and a long sleeve. One of the tees and one of the long sleeves is to coincide with the album and all the EP art. So, yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. And then obviously, of course, folks, October 25th, the album is going to be out everywhere. You can jam it. Until then, you're gonna have to come and keep re-listening to this episode if you want to jam it. But boys, thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it, and I can't wait for you guys to drop this on the world, man.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks, TJ.
All right, folks, there you have it. My chat with the boys in Seagrave as they give us an exclusive first listen of their brand new self-titled EP. That EP is an absolute freaking banger, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Now, remember, October 25th is when the EP comes out, but you can check out the singles Leader of the Pack and Edge of the Woods, which is currently out. Go check out the video for Edge of the Woods. Holy shit. It is, let's just say it was too gory to be uploaded to YouTube. So, you know, that's if you know some of the content you can find on YouTube, that's, that's pretty, that's pretty intense. And it was directed by friend of the show, Dom Perrin. So big shout outs as well to him for, being a part of that kick-ass and just gore-filled video. I really, really enjoyed it, just like I enjoyed the EP, and hope that you guys did as well. Now, before we go here today, I, of course, want to take a second to give a huge shout-out to all of my Patreon supporters, my hotheads. We, of course, have Ronan Komori from the Baseline Feed podcast. We have Wolf Delta Pi from the Baseline Feed podcast. We have actor extraordinaire Eric Phones, who I may or may not be working on cooking something special up for the October month. We have Mike Quintero from Shutter Radio. We have the very talented C.M. Peters, author extraordinaire, as well as one of the co-creators for the Baseline Feed podcast, who you may or may not hear very, very shortly on the show, like maybe next week, we'll see. Then we, of course, have Mr. Jason Reese from Jaybird Digital Arts, the man behind all of the graphics for the Harder Show. If you need any kind of graphics or logos, go ahead and hit my guy up at jaybirddigitalarts.com. We have the co-creators of the Harder Show in a very indirect way, Terry and Janet Hodder. That's right, my parents are patrons. That's pretty cool, right? We have the OG producer of The Harder Show and voice actor extraordinaire Brandon Bowden from Bowden Voice. And last but not least, we've got Ian Hill. Thank you guys so much for all of the support. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you are ready, because we're going to have a lot of fun here in October. We got some cool horror-esque content coming up later this month. You guys know how I do here on The Harder Show in October. As you can hear, I am fighting some kind of sickness, so hopefully that is long gone by the end of this week so that I can really start diving into some horror-esque content. But even if it isn't, rest assured, I got some cool stuff coming for you in the world of horror here on The Harder Show for Halloween, as well as beyond The Harder Show eventually. But we'll talk about that another day, because I'm going to take off here. Thank you so very much for listening, and I'll catch you next time on The Harder Show. Take it easy, guys.